Test, 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 test. The audio is testing. We are testing the audio. Can you guys talk real quick? Say test.
I'm talking.
My
I'm
name's
testing.
Devin, and I've
My
been to jail.
my name's
for
Andy.
sex, Bob.
I've never.
And we are unmuted. We're here.
Woo!
Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum,
Howdy!
ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum,
Welcome to the
bum-ba-ba-bum.
world's preeminent podcast about that little yellow family called the Simpsons. There's Bart and there's Lisa and Maggie and Homer and Marge too. And that's everybody's favorite. How about you?
Now, Andy, did you write this song?
Yes.
The song
And
you wrote?
I had some help.
Well, who helped you?
It's a little pop artist that you may or may not have heard of before.
It's one of history's greatest perverts.
It's one of history's greatest perverts. It starts with an L and ends with an Lady Gaga. One of history's.
Historically, one of history's greatest perverts.
Yeah, Lady Gaga helped you with that.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm distracted because I'm trying to adjust the color of myself. Me.
Okay.
My
Are
person.
you trying to make yourself more yellow like The Simpsons?
I can do that. Do you want me to make me yellow? Do you want
Yeah.
me
Well,
to
you'd
make
probably-
me yellow?
You'd probably just end up looking jaundiced.
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna look
sick.
super jaundiced right now.
Jaundice rocks.
Yeah. One of our students at Planet Ant got jaundiced one time, and
guys,
then their
look. I'm-
their class troop team name was Jaundice Awareness because he had to miss some time because he got jaundiced.
That's why they call it that?
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
I had no idea that was that.
You guys, I'm Simpsons now. Oh, you can't
we
see
got-
it on. You can't see it unless it's on the stream. I'm Simpsons today.
I'm looking at the stream. Anyway, welcome to Homerphilia, everybody tuning in. We are the internet's preeminent Simpsons-based podcast. We're watching The Simpsons from the very beginning. Devin and I are big fans. Darren's watching The Simpsons for the first time ever.
Yep.
We're in the middle of season 3. Today we're talking about the terrific episode, Lisa's Pony.
Why
and
are
look,
you
yeah, I
showing?
see it. Darren
Why are
is-
you showing the stream? The stream can see me on the stream.
I was showing
Darren's
Andy.
full-
Oh, you're showing
Darren's
Andy. I get it.
He's full yellow, just like a Simpson.
I also like the idea of watching the stream on the stream.
Yeah, our
I
stream
like
is just us watching the
recursive
stream.
paintings.
I agree. That's
Yeah.
nice.
And that, I mean, if we're all watching, that's 3 more viewers that weren't watching before. So
Right.
those are numbers just skyrocketing towards number 1.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Well,
So
theoretically, exponentially, it's an exponential amount of viewers if the stream's watching the stream and the stream and the stream and the stream.
Yeah.
are you freaking Christopher Nolan over here, dude? Come on.
Yeah,
relax.
we're the most popular podcast in the world when I hold up the stream to the stream.
Yeah, because
That's-
of the
That
feedback
is
loop.
actually the basis of his latest movie coming out, is somebody who gets caught watching the stream that they're currently streaming, and it ends up in a loop that he can't ever get out of.
Do you
Yeah, so he has
know?
to drive a van off a bridge or
That's-
whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know they're doing a preview premiere in the drive-in movie theater within fortnight of Christopher Nolan's new movie?
They're showing his new movie at the drive-in in Fortnite.
One of the places in Fortnite you can fight people is at like a drive-in movie theater, and there's a movie
Okay.
screen, and they're showing a premiere of a preview
I'm a
or
little
something.
frustrated by that because I was doing
Because
my
your
wife and
thing-
I's gender reveal party in Minecraft that night.
Oh, that's great.
So I feel like no one's going to come to my gender reveal party because of that. So
All right.
that really fucking sucks
So
for me.
last
Yeah.
week we started this new thing where we do run through The Simpsons, the episode facts at the beginning. Because some people were like, "You guys wait too long to talk about The Simpsons." So we're gonna at least prime it with some Simpsons stuff again today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this
dance
is
baby, Lisa's pony.
this is episode season 3 episode what episode is this? I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me right now. What?
7?
Episode 7.
Season 3, episode 7 or 6, depending on how it's ordered. Whether you count the Michael Jackson episode or not. But this is total episode number 43. Main characters are Homer and Lisa. My computer is that mine computer? Yeah, it was.
It sounds like it.
Damn, dude. Episode 43, production code 8F06. Original air date November 7, 1991. Main characters are Homer and Lisa. The chalkboard gag is Bart Bucks are not legal tender. The couch gag is the lying down Homer couch gag. Showrunner Al Jean and Mike Reis. Reis, is that how you say that? Rice? R-E-I-S-S. Written by Al Jean and Mark Rice. Directed by Carlos Baeza. Beza.
Well, how about that?
There you go. So there's our stuff. Pretty much classic
So,
tale.
I fought hard. I fought these two guys hard to make Darren announce the episode ID number. They really didn't want him to do it, but I put my foot in the dirt and I said, no,
We need the
Homerphilia-
production codes.
we need the production code. The people need to know that they production coded this one 8603 because that's what the Homerphilia fans desire. That's what they care about.
I'm here to give you guys the truth, okay? That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
If you don't want to hear the truth, go somewhere else. But this is a truth cast, if you will.
Yeah, this is yes. This that's interesting.
Shout out to Bob and Bosanovic.
We're the world's first truth cast and the world's preeminent Simpsons podcast.
Yeah.
Boys, we have a big guest star on this episode of Lisa's Pony. We got freaking Frank Welker as Princess the horse,
What?
famous for being Fred on Scooby-Doo, and he's been Scooby-Doo since 2002, and he's also Nibbler on Futurama.
Oh, really?
Is that right?
Jumps in to play the horse. He plays a lot of animal characters and stuff.
So he's the
he
Andy.
was Slimer in the Ghostbusters animated
Oh,
show.
man. Wow, I'm proud of
rocked.
this guy.
He's been doing the voice of Fred on Scooby-Doo since like 1968,
Wow,
which is crazy to me.
Fred's the big jock boy.
Oh yeah, he's a big beefy hunk.
Okay, good. Does he also play Scoob?
He does now.
He does now play Scoob.
Yeah.
Does he
for the
play
last
Fred
20
still? Fred and Scoob now?
Yep.
Wow.
Who's your favorite beefy hunk, guys?
Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Mostly because he looks now like a beef hot dog.
Hey, you guys, Victor wants to know in how many episodes do the people of Springfield riot, and were all those episodes around the same time?
No, Victor, The Simpsons has a long-standing history of of mob scenes, riot scenes, and big groups affecting change. The Simpsons is woke. They have a lot. There's a lot of episodes where people gather in the streets and protest something or are upset about something. There's the soccer riot one. There's a big mob scene in the Simpsons movie.
The head one we saw.
Yeah,
the Telltale Head.
We've already seen,
Look at me with Simpsons knowledge, you
we've already
guys.
seen a big gathering scene in Town Square. Yeah.
Jeez, oh man. Oh, you guys can't see my green screen. I have a hat that green screens out like an invisibility cloak.
So now it looks like the top of your head's open?
No, I have it in front of my face, so it looks like I don't have a head.
Oh,
my green hat masks me, you guys.
Wow. This is just
it's technology.
Just a little movie making magic for all you lay people out there. We're using chroma key. Incredible.
Now, Devin, you fancy yourself a bit of a movie magic buff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I grew up doing movie magic.
Yeah.
I got a book in the mail on how to become a movie magician.
Right.
And I would start with, pick a card, any card, and then they pick it, and it's a movie. So yeah, I'm kind of a movie magic guy.
Anytime there's a magician in a movie, you're there consulting on set, and they're not really doing magic. Your magic is making it look like people are doing magic in movies when in reality nothing's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. If you see a movie where someone is doing a card trick or an illusion or something, they are really just standing there holding nothing and not even moving.
Right.
And I will be coming in and doing all of the magic for it.
You're in one of those green suits head to toe and you're making it happen.
Yeah, I've got all of the little mocap balls. I'm kind of the Andy Serkis of magicians in movies.
Yeah. And I just wanted to bring this out because nobody ever gives you the proper respect for what you've done. Now, I will say possibly the biggest magic franchise in the history of movies, Now You See Me, and Now You See Me 2, you had nothing to do with because they all learned real magic. Woody Harrelson and the gang thought it wouldn't be true to their characters unless they really became real wizards.
Correct. And I want to be clear that by doing that, they are breaking union rules, in my opinion. They've crossed a picket line. And I think it's against my union to work on a movie where you have people doing real magic in there.
Right. And that's why a lot of times, like you've been out this weekend protesting with a sign that says,
Woody Harrelson, you must unlearn magic. Woody Harrelson, please forget magic.
Yeah. And then you had another one that was like, Jesse Eisenberg can fuck off.
Yes.
And you got a lot of positive feedback from those signs.
Yeah, I drove to Armada, Michigan, because there weren't any protests going on there for anything else, and I was just out there saying Jesse Eisenberg fucking sucks.
Woody Harrelson, you must unlearn magic now.
Must unlearn magic. I have been working with a team of doctors and hypnotists and memory specialists on developing a way to maybe ambush Woody Harrelson and erase his memory.
Yeah. Now, it's inconclusive whether or not that is going to work, because it's my understanding that once you learn magic, it's in your bones to all the way to the marrow.
Right. And maybe if I do, something that, makes someone unlearn magic, eventually they will once again find it within themselves at a moment where they need it most.
Yeah. And you do not know how to do magic. You just know how
to make it look photographable.
Right.
Filmable.
So part of it is that you're jealous that Woody Harrelson figured it out in a couple of months.
Oh, big time. I spent my whole life. I mean, when I was 11 years old and living at my aunt and uncle's under the stairs, and I got an owl that delivered a letter to my house that said, you're the special boy who gets to go to the school for people who can do magic, but only on camera, make it look like magic.
Yeah.
I had to go to a big castle in England where all the other kids also could make it look like magic was happening in films.
You went to the Hogwarts
Yes.
School for Movie Magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Specs Howard Hogwarts School of Movie Magic.
The Hogwarts School of Movie Magic at Specs Howard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm in a lot of debt from that.
Yeah. But it was well, maybe it wasn't worth it if you're getting paid a pittance to do this.
Yeah.
It's a really underrepresented aspect of the entertainment business. The Writers Guild isn't out there fighting for you to get more money to make it look like the CGI Garfield can do close-up magic.
No, honestly, I'm getting blacklisted right now. And
Right?
it's frustrating. Yeah, I can't get on a movie set right now. We got
Oh,
an
no, I think-
altercation with Penn and Teller while they were doing one of their specials, and they've blackballed me. I'm the Dalton Trumbo of movie magician consultants.
At what point did you get blackballed? Because there haven't been a ton of movie sets to be on in the last couple months.
Well, about a year ago, I was on set, and they were putting out Crafty for the crew, and they said principals and actors first, and I cut the line and I jumped in front of Penn and Teller for craft services. And I haven't been on a movie set since then.
Now you would think that it would be Penn that was mad at that, but the way I heard it, it was Teller. Teller went
it's often you think it goes one way, but it's the other way. Teller's the one who will just fly off in a rage.
And when he gets mad, it's like Mr. Peepers from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, absolutely. It's just absolutely apeshit, and it's frustrating.
Darren, if you had to rank your favorite Saturday Night Live recurring characters, where would Mr. Peepers rank, and why is it number one?
I have not watched enough Saturday Night Live in my life. I have not. Which character are you asking me about? I'm sorry. I was doing some tech stuff over here.
It's a tech stuff.
Tech.
Oh.
Because I'm the live stream part. No, I'm doing my taxes, dude. I'm getting a jump for next April.
Andy, do you think it's punching down to make fun of Chris Kattan at this point?
So I had sarcastically brought up the Saturday Night Live character, Mr. Peepers, which was a recurring bit wherein Chris Kattan would wear a loincloth and big, crazy ears and act like a missing link type animal between apes and man and eat an apple really funny and then freak out and smack the celebrity guest that week. So
is it punching down to talk shit on Mango?
Mango, man. Victor says that Dalton Trumbo is a deep cut.
I try.
How many Simpsons are going to get that reference? Actually, Victor, there's a lot of deep cut references in The Simpsons, and all of the writers went to Harvard, and that's why it's so smart, and they all had fun in that purple castle that's called the Lampoon, and that they're obviously better than us because of all of that, and their parents got them to where they are today.
Got this month's issue, or this quarter's issue of the Harvard Lampoon right here.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've been subscribed to it for like 12 years.
Oh, that's interesting. I have been I've walked through Cambridge and I've walked around the building. It's very secretive. They're always very secretive about it. The inside of the castle does make a brief appearance in that Lampoon movie they made, A Stupid and Futile Gesture.
Yeah. It makes it look like fun. I wish I was rich enough to be a cool comedy writer.
Yeah. I begged my parents to build a library at Harvard, and they refused. They flat out refused. So I got rejected.
Wow. And you still get upset with them about that, don't you?
Yeah. All Harvard was asking to let me into their school was a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art library and microfiche center, and my parents said no.
Devastating.
It's devastating. I could have been a Lampoon writer, and I could be writing these episodes that you guys are talking about right now, but instead, I'm not Lampoon, I'm not Harvard, so ipso facto, I'm not Simpsons.
Oh, got ipso facto. You're already on the Harvard train, speaking Latin.
Mm-hmm. Ipso fatso.
Yeah, Casper's uncle.
Yeah.
Ipso fatso, stinky, and stretch.
What'd you guys think of the app this week?
It was a fun app.
It was a fun one. I didn't like. Again, it's not one that I loved. It's not gonna like stick out for me in the long run. But I liked. There was a couple movie nods and whatchamacallits. What was that? Space Odyssey.
Space Odyssey.
At the beginning, which is that was cool. I really liked how they did that.
Godfather.
The Godfather moment I really liked. With
they used the actual soundtrack from The Godfather, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think that Godfather moment is a really good example of how easily and how nicely they are going to tie in their cultural references to the actual story they're telling from here on out, or at least for the next several seasons. Like they're really good at incorporating cultural references into the story being told there. So like that made total sense in the moment, instead of like the Family Guy thing where, you know, you cut away, gag something and shoehorn it uncomfortably into what's already happening.
Right. This is a form follows function kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's not like they're writing around the gag. The gag is following the plot.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the 2000, even though it was a little more out of left field. It was an opener. I liked the 2001 reference, and they will return to 2001 over and over and over again. You could recut that movie with Simpsons references, I'm sure.
I just wanted the jump cut because they like I was expecting that to end with the jump cut.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it didn't.
And I know they do that in the one where Homer goes to space, right? They do.
They do that cut and Homer goes to space, and that's what I was anticipating here. And before I realized it was not this episode.
Yeah. So in this this opener of 2001 with the apes, at the end of it, one of them throws a bone up into the sky and it revolves around and it jump cuts into the International Space Station. And I feel like it was a real missed opportunity not to get that thing in there.
Yeah, I mean, as far as bones being thrown, that one from 2001, and then Dr. Evil saying "Throw me a bone, Scotty."
Yeah,
and Austin Powers are two of my favorites.
Those are good. Yes, those are good bone throw moments. I always like in movies when they do the wishbone, and then the person that loses throws the smaller bone at the other person. That's always a good bone throw. That's a classic bone throw.
Now, you actually had your life kind of derailed for a while by a wishbone gone awry situation.
Yeah, well, so
I was reading your journal. I was reading the Century.
Yeah, my biggest advice for anybody listening right now is if you are going to do the wishbone at Thanksgiving, don't do it with somebody that you just got done arguing with, because what happens is then they wish ill upon you and then they get the bigger piece, so they win, and then that ill is thrust into your life and causes major rifts and deep chaos.
Well, now, unfortunately, this was exacerbated by your family's tradition of going around the table and saying your thing you're thankful for and your greatest weakness.
Right. Yes.
So you were particularly susceptible to a wish being made upon you.
So I was saying, I am so grateful. This is before you guys knew me. I'm so grateful for my my fantastic career in the NBA and how I'm the highest paid player in the league, and that my biggest weakness is my terrible ACLs.
Right.
So then my cousin Robert, he immediately wished ill upon my ACLs, and I've never recovered. I'm actually 6 inches shorter than I used to be. Because
right. Yeah, you're historically large ACLs.
My ACLs tore so bad that I lost 6 inches. If you've ever seen somebody like lose control of one of those resistant bands, that's kind of what it looked like. But it was my knees.
Yeah, we've all been waiting for the 30 for 30 they're going to do about your career in the NBA.
I know. I'm the first person to average 100 points.
To average 100 points.
Well, yeah.
And you're one of the most successful basketball professionals turned local improviser as well.
Yeah. And
one of the few to successfully pivot.
Yeah. Blake Griffin tried to take that away from me too, and then he was doing improv out in LA. And when he came here, I was like, "No way, Blake! I'm the only former NBA player."
That must have been devastating when LeBron was just so funny in Trainwreck.
Oh my God!
Or Bill Hader's buddy.
I know. I was seething. There's a funny NBA guy right here, and my mom and dad. So all that they had to do, my parents, all they had to do was build a library for Amy Schumer, and she was going to cast me in that movie.
Well, and you grew up no. Watching Airplane and saying, I want to do what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar does, both in his career in sports and his career in comedy.
Yeah. And I did the get good at basketball thing. I did the get kicked in the chest by Bruce Lee thing. But I haven't been able to get into a famous comedy yet.
No, and you have also not been able to staff on the writing staff of the 4th season of Veronica Mars, as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did.
Are you serious? Is that a real thing?
I believe he wrote for the 4th season of Veronica Mars.
Wow.
Let me Google that and make sure I'm remembering that. Anyone, if you remember that in the comments, chime in.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a TV writer?
Yeah, like 2 years ago, he staffed for Veronica Mars' 4th season. I'm reading a Vanity Fair article that says, yes, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is writing for the new Veronica Mars.
Why? What?
That rocks. Yeah, he co-wrote an episode. I have no idea.
Oh, that's crazy. To go from NBA superstar to a member of the writing staff at Veronica Mars, that could be construed as a horrible fall from grace. Oh man,
that's very funny to me. Yeah, I'm trying to take the opposite path where I go improviser, TV writer, in comedies. Star of the NBA.
Yeah, it's tough because everybody knows that your athletic peak is in your early 20s. Your writer brain peak is if you'll listen to like Stephen King, is when you're like 80 or 90. You're cranking out the best books you've ever written. And I think it's an inarguable fact that the stuff that Stephen King is writing now is a million times better than anything he came out with in the 70s or 80s. Right, Darren?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
So you're trying to do the opposite.
Yes. Yeah. As my body gets mushier, I'm trying to push it and use it for athleticism.
And you call it your mushy.
Yeah, I do. The mushy. I've developed a workout plan that takes place over 60 years called the mushy pushy. It is a 7-day-a-week program, beginning when you're 20 and ending when they bury you.
Yeah.
And the mushy pushy is just how to go from like doughy in your 20s to 7 feet tall in your 90s.
And so far, it sounds like the response to your workout book has been one of utter disgust.
Yes. Yeah, the title, a lot of places won't even carry it because it sounds like
it's
like maybe plus size pornography or something.
Yeah. It sounds like what happens on my bed, on my old gross bed of vegetables when I make love.
Oh, yeah. When you're doing the mushy pushy.
When I'm doing the mushy pushy on my gross old bed of rotten vegetables.
It sounds like a disgusting hokey pokey. You do the mushy pushy and you turn yourself about, and that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. Oh, my goodness.
Lisa got a goddamn pony in this episode.
I know, she did.
How exciting for her.
She's always wanted one. I liked at the beginning when they show her calling her dad for a saxophone read. There's just a kid setting up his table. He's a kid setting up his table of wine glasses that he's gonna play at the talent show. That's a very funny visual to me, that like an 8-year-old is gonna play the wine glasses for the talent show.
Lisa is calling Homer to pick up a read, and she runs through the list of people she's called first, including the nice man who caught the snake in the basement last month. Which is so devastating to trust any adult figure over your own father.
Oh, yeah. And that nice man who, we get to see Milhouse playing the spoons on his face. Once again, just a few seconds of screen time, and Milhouse just knocking it out of the park once again.
One of my favorite types of cut tos too is just going directly from Milhouse to Skinner, and Skinner watching Milhouse from side stage going, terrible, just terrible.
I think Skinner and the whole talent show thing was great. Just sitting there, just talking shit about everybody.
Well, there's a kid up there singing "My Ding-a-ling, My Ding-a-ling." I
want
you to play with my ding-a-ling, and Skinner runs on stage and goes, "This act is over."
I only knew that song from this moment in The Simpsons, and when I found out that Sammy Davis Jr. had a song called "My Ding-a-ling" that this was a reference to, it blew my mind that it wasn't something The Simpsons just made up in this moment.
I thought this was just Simpson shit when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too. It's like a Sammy Davis Jr. song about his dick.
Yeah, but then I became a big Sammy head in my later years. And
Isn't it? So when you think about it, Sammy Davis Jr. put out a song about his dick. He was the original Lil Dicky, if you think about it.
Oh God.
I loved watching Skinner just mumble about how awful this evening is, and then immediately go out on stage and say, "I think this is the most talented crop of kids we've ever had."
So Homer goes to try and find the reed, right? And he goes to the music shop. It's next to Moe's. He's got 5 minutes to spare. He just made it. He goes and gets drunk instead. And then he ends up talking to the guy who owns the music store, which I have a question. Why does that guy look like Milhouse?
Maybe it's Milhouse's grandpa.
I don't know. We
see Milhouse's grandpa eventually.
Yeah, he was same color palette, same head shape.
When Homer needs to find a reed, he goes to the store next to Moe's. When I need to find a reed, I'll check out the Planet Ant live stream 7 p.m. on Sunday nights.
Nailed it.
Because that's where you're gonna find a reed.
I've been called the
Planet Ant stream.
Yeah, I have been called by several different publications the only reed you'll ever need.
And what were those publications again? They're slipping my mind.
Mama Reed Monthly, her family newsletter she puts out.
Yeah.
Here's an entry into the Homerphilia Corrections Department. It was Chuck Berry who sang "My Darling." I'm so sorry, Victor.
That's what I thought too.
I am
Chuck Berry's greatest contribution to the world is putting cameras in the toilets of his apartment and then getting arrested for it.
I can't believe I mistook a Chuck Berry song for a Sammy Davis Jr. song. If you guys want to kick me off the podcast,
we'll put you on probation.
Okay.
In 1999, Chuck Berry was sued by several women who claimed he had installed a video camera in the bathroom.
What?
And it cost him over $1.2 million plus legal fees.
You know what that means? That
59 women filed class action suits.
In a bathroom, you said?
Yeah, he put video cameras in the bathrooms of an apartment building he owned.
Oh God, that's icky. Do you guys remember the story from Lollapalooza one year that like a dude got caught sitting in the porta-john
With a porta potty.
like
That's
in the filth part of
disgusting.
the porta-john so he could watch people poop and pee?
What? Like, did he have like a
Before he had,
full-on
like, the
bodysuit, or was he just
technology?
like straight up in like?
He's-
Was he like
I
in like
think he's-
cargo shorts and like sandals, or was he like
As
fully
far
like
as
dressed?
I know- as far as I know, he did not wear a scuba suit in
Oh my
Lollapalooza.
god!
But
Dude, you
somebody-
know he had like freaking like.
Somebody saw his. You know how in The Simpsons when they turned their lights off
Yeah.
and you could just see their eyes? Somebody saw that in the bottom of the porta.
No.
He did a reverse James Bond, where instead of getting out of a scuba scoot into a tuxedo, he went into Lollapalooza in a tuxedo, took it off to reveal a scuba suit, jumped into a porta-john.
Yeah, they just saw his eyes looking up, and he was sitting submerged in people and human filth.
And you know how
Watching
those, like, you're talking music festival porta john. That's the worst kind. Those things are constantly like full. They're like
All people are
overflowing.
eating are fried foods
Yeah.
and beer.
It's fried foods, beer, and like lots of freaking drugs. I mean, like, it's like,
Taking liquid shits into those toilets.
it's
They pour
not
oil.
good.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine being in a porta potty and just hearing like the Splinter Cell night vision noise?
The only
Someone's
thing
night vision goggles turning on.
Like, the only thing that would make that story funnier is if somebody dropped their cell phone in and he handed it back to them.
No.
It's kind of a reverse swirly situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. The bully's on the bottom on that one. Yeah, that's yeah. It's pretty. It was pretty horrifying. I'm pretty sure it was Lollapalooza. Victor might fact check me on that one too.
Victor, fact check it. He's gonna tell me he doesn't work here.
Kind of a Jordan Peele us situation where underneath every toilet you've got a reverse of you in the toilet.
Yeah. Oh man, there was one year. I think it was two. If you guys, I think you guys know, but the listening audience at home might not. I went to 10 straight Lollapaloozas at one time in my life. One of the recent ones, there was a viral video that came out. There was like a row of the normal like green porta potties, and there was one red one in the middle. And if you open that door, it opened into a hallway that like led you to a rave.
Oh my god.
Like that
That's
would
wild.
yeah, it was like really cool. Just like one of the porta potties was a secret door to a party that like if you found, you could just go back there and have fun.
Yeah, I always go into a porta potty just hoping it's going to lead to a party.
Mhm.
It almost never
Imagine
does.
being the guy who doesn't want to find the hallway, like he waited
Yeah,
in
I'm just trying
line.
to take shit.
Yeah, and he's like, no. It's like worst case scenario.
No, I've been out in the hot sun all day, standing shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of assholes. You think I want to
Yeah.
go to this bathroom party? I just want to go to the bathroom. Yeah.
Victor wants
I-
clarification, Andy. Did he want to watch people use the restroom, or did he want to be peed and defecated on? What do you think?
Probably both.
Get in his head,
That's a $1
dude.
million question, baby.
Probably both.
Question we all ask ourselves
yeah.
sometimes.
I mean, at some point when you've submerged yourself in the waste of a porta-john, getting a little more on you is not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know, man.
Do you think the blue liquid they put at the bottom of porta potties is the same stuff your barber uses to clean his combs in that little jar on his
Do I
desk?
really think it is? I think it's probably rooted in like some alcohol-based cleaner for sure, right? Alcohol.
But what is the blue, and is it blue raspberry, do you think?
Let's look it up. That's why I got a computer, right?
Yeah,
What
Google blue raspberry porta potty barber.
Barbershop
And why?
blue.
And why, if I'm not supposed to drink it, does it look so delicious?
All right. Barbicide is a disinfectant solution used by barbers and cosmetologists for disinfecting grooming tools such as combs and hair cutting shears.
No, barbicide is
Invented
when
in
you kill your barber.
1947. Okay, now what's blue porta potty stuff?
Now, so this is a fight I've had with my barber over and over and over again. If he doesn't want me drinking it, why does he make it look so good?
I agree.
Yeah. Why can't it be like a sludgy, gross, like gray color?
Okay,
It's called
got-
barbicide because it kills barbers, and
The-
it's what they take, like seppuku style, if they do a bad haircut.
the blue
They dishonor
liquid
the barber's name.
the blue liquid in a portable toilet is really, really powerful deodorizer with disinfectant meant to help combat the smells that are produced in portable restrooms. So they're not
And
the
it's blue
same
raspberry.
thing. Is it flavored?
Yeah.
Is it
It's
flavored?
not.
Yeah.
Is
No.
barbicide?
So it's like, how that natural gas has no odor, but
Yeah,
they
that's
put
what
a
I'm
little
saying.
odor in there so it can make people know that it's happening.
Yeah.
They make it taste really yucky, so you won't want to drink it. Because I
No.
know.
Exactly.
It's not flavored.
It's like-
Thank you, Victor.
What?
A little bit of Googling. It was at the Hanuman Yoga Festival in 2011. Not Lollapalooza. Still gross.
At the Hanuman Yogurt Festival.
Kurt says the
The
blue is
yolk-
You know
so.
the yogurt
Kurt Brinker
is-
says the blue is so the cops can tell who stole from a porta potty. Like it's an ink bag situation.
It's such a good bit, Kurt.
Jeez.
Somebody just blew up to their elbow. They're like, no,
No.
I don't know.
Him.
Can we see inside your backpack, sir? No, I don't have anything to hide. No.
Just blue dripping out of the backpack.
I did like that. I did like that Bleeding Gums Murphy gives Bart a perfect 10 for his terrible impressions of
It
the.
was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's such a nice to have a Bleeding Gums Murphy moment that's not like related to like Lisa and her story. Like
Yes. Yeah.
let him just laugh at Bart.
So obviously Homer fails. He went and had a beer instead of getting the read. Lisa face plants at the talent show, and Skinner, trying to like lighten up the mood, exits Lisa off the stage from her terrible performance by going, "That was Lisa and her wacky sax." I thought that was good.
Homer not remembering what instrument Lisa plays is just
Yeah.
such a devastating, neglectful.
Yeah, and the way that he remembers is,
Yeah.
Lisa, stop playing that. He like recalls himself
Yeah.
yelling at her for making too much noise.
Just devastating.
Yeah. Absolutely is my favorite production.
Is it?
I love the Burns exchange at the loan office. I
Yes.
love that Homer is trying to figure out how to get money. He tries to write a check for $500,000 and dates it 2054. And he says, "Is that going to be a problem?" That's funny. Then he goes to his loan office. He goes to get a loan. He asks to borrow $5,000, and the woman at the desk says, I can't approve that much." And then Burns and Smithers come down, and Homer says, "You do these yourself," and Burns pretty much just tells him it's for fun, it's a hobby because he likes doing it.
Yeah.
Which is a funny exchange. I love the moment where he starts laughing maniacally because he's gonna own Homer pretty much.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Oh, I was laughing at something funny Smithers said," and then Smithers goes, "I didn't say anything funny, sir," which is a funny moment. That was a good one. I love Smithers. I do.
Smithers rocks. I love the Katharine Hepburn horse trainer lady.
Yeah.
Oh
And,
yeah.
I don't know, Victor, if you're watching The Simpsons along with us, but that was the connection between this episode of Homerphilia in the last episode of the Training Center stream is that this lady makes reference to herself as a stern patrician, which is the phrase you use to describe that character Margaret plays a lot in improv.
Love it. I very bizarre. They haven't developed Ralph yet because
yeah.
like Lisa's on the horse and this kid goes, wow, she's really tamed that horse. And Ralph, in a completely unrecognizable voice, goes, yes, but what man could tame her?
That line made me laugh so hard.
That is my line of the episode.
Yeah,
and it's a mistake. Like the line is funny, but it's they just haven't gotten Ralph down yet.
Was this his first line? I don't think we've heard.
I don't know who Ralph is, so I don't think it must be his first line.
That kid, we will very soon learn, is like the dumbest kid imaginable.
With one of the funniest voices in the show.
Yes, with a very funny voice, classic Simpsons lines, probably pound for pound, one of the most quoted characters on the show, like line for line.
Yeah.
Considering how little he speaks. But yeah, so the voice does not match up at all. But that line was so funny. Look at how she's tamed that horse. Yeah, but what man could tame her?
What a wild line. I absolutely loved it. Just like Ralph has some of the most quotable moments in Simpsons lore, and I never think about this one.
No, nope. Because it's not quite Ralph yet. It is funny to go back, one, to see how many of these small bit characters they like fucking nailed right off the top, like that they seem like exactly realized what they'll always be, and then also to point out these couple that they're still trying to figure out. You know, like Smithers is Smithers from the very beginning, even though his animation changes a little bit. Milhouse is pretty much Milhouse from day one. But there's like some of the like Lenny and Carl aren't quite what they will be. Barney's definitely not what he'll be eventually. So it's kind of fun to look at that.
I love when Lisa's like the Katharine Hepburn character is like, I'm teaching her grooming and horseback riding and pronunciation, and then Lisa goes, Father, I'm the happiest girl who's ever lived. Like she just gets this like weird like affectation that rich people sometimes have, like a transatlantic accent.
Now what's funnier to you, that Lisa gets her pony, or that eventually we have an episode where Bart gets a pet elephant?
Ooh. To me, getting a pet elephant is funny.
Because it's big.
It's too big.
And like people have pet horses all the time. Yeah. I personally don't know a single person other than my old neighbor PT who's had an elephant.
Your old neighbor PT, the inventor of the cruiser?
Yes, yeah, my old neighbor PT Cruiser.
Physical therapist Cruiser.
Yeah.
Now, why did he have an elephant? Did he get it from the circus?
He got so rich from royalties because of the car that he kind of went like he got like a zoo in his backyard. He got an elephant.
Now, famously, it was a Dave and Buster's situation where PT was the elephant and Barnum was the fun and tense, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I like this is a very well structured episode. I thought, like, they knew the story they wanted to tell. They packed the jokes. The pacing was good. They got some references in there. They had like that cool dream sequence.
That was the best part of the episode.
I like the dream sequence a lot too.
It was pretty and weird. It was like very David Lynchy.
Yeah, and this is just a snippet of, like, there's the episodes that we as people that grew up watching The Simpsons know and love and cherish forever and can quote back to front. And then there's ones like this that might not have a special place in my heart, but as soon as I see him driving down a road of beds, like I have such a vivid, this is such a vivid memory in my mind, this clip, and that like stuff like that will pop in every episode for the next several seasons.
This was a fun one. I did enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah. Ditto. I liked that when he's trying to figure out how and where to buy a pony, his first stop is a pet store called All Creatures Great and Cheap.
Yeah. The guy tries to sell him a deer hound.
Pet it, you buy it.
Victor asks, who's a better Simpsons EP, Al Jean or Mike Reese? I think it's got to be Al Jean.
Jean's been running it now. I mean, he had a stint as showrunner for 3 and 4 around then, and then stayed on as a producer, but not a showrunner for a while, and then came back and has basically been showrunning the show for 20 years. And under his direction, it's gotten to be a lesser show, but he's kept it running for 20 fucking years.
That's true. Yeah, he's been involved since the beginning, I think, right? In some capacity.
Yeah.
I don't like when people say like what happened to the Simpsons. I wouldn't necessarily say it's Al Jean's fault, but
right.
yeah, I mean, yeah, he
Al Jean from Farmington Hills.
Is that right? Oh, yeah. I mean, he's had his finger in the greatest stuff the Simpsons ever done. Also, just because he found his home and he never left, he's also, tied into the fact that the show's gone downhill. I don't know.
The only time he left was to do The Critic, and then was back shortly after that was done.
Is he the reason why we get a Simpsons Critic crossover episode soon?
Yeah. Which Matt Groening is famously hated and took his name off.
Is that right?
Yes, which is funny considering how many guest animators we've now had and how many other crossovers we've had.
Yeah, that's true.
He was like ready to quit. He was furious at them doing a crossover, which is wild to me.
At this point, it seems like they don't have a ton of choice that's gonna happen. Like I don't think that the team at Simpsons had a chance to like say no, we don't want to do an episode with the Family Guy.
It seems to me like I don't know. I mean, how many years is this now? This is 32 years? 32 years?
Yeah.
I mean, how many they did themselves a service by setting out with the Glass House like episode model or whatever, start the same every time. But like, even if like how much can you explore the same characters for 32 freaking years? It just blows my mind that it's still like that anybody can expect there to be like that much left in this. And like it's gotta just be, it cranks in so much money at this point still.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind. I mean, I can't imagine trying to write 32 seasons of the same model, because it's still the same Glass House right now, right?
I mean, nobody's written 32. Nobody's been around as a writer for 32 seasons,
right? But I mean, I'm just saying, like
right now, right now they've got like Megan Amram as a writer there, and I really like her as a comedian.
Al Jean's been around for 32 seasons.
That's true.
Except for those 2 years on The Critic, because he was on the first season of The Simpsons.
That's true.
I just don't.
Unbelievable.
It just blows. I mean, most shows you think of even my favorite shows, even like The Office or something. Like I love The Office. I love Parks and Rec. My favorite shows after 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons, whatever it is, even the ones that have some staying power, it's just they start to the planned character arcs run their course, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, what do we do with this?
Yeah,
like it is such a testament that they're still great in those first early double-digit seasons. And
the
stuff.
show to me peaks 7 years in, 8 years in.
It peaks when most shows are done. I mean, when most shows don't have a drop left to squeeze out of them, which is blows my mind to think about.
They have a phenomenal run of genius. Now it's such an institution that my personal opinion is that it's going to stop when the main 5 or 6 voice actors decide to retire or die.
Do you think that they will retire together, or do you think that it would be one person?
I think like
you think one person will die and then?
I
mean, do you think one person will die and then everybody else will be like, okay, I'm done? Or do you think it'll be like everybody gets real old and then says, I'm out?
Devin made a couple years ago, Harry Shearer put his feet down in a contract negotiation situation and said he was going to step away from the show if he didn't get X amount of whatever. And a lot of the main characters said, I don't know if I want to keep going if we're going to start breaking up the family.
Okay.
Eventually it got worked out and he stayed on and they're still doing it.
So who does he voice?
Harry Shearer is Principal Skinner.
Okay.
He's Burns, right?
Burns, Smithers.
Okay.
Smithers.
Cool,
He's
cool,
a bunch of
Cool.
Hank Azaria is he's like 15 different voices.
Yep.
Dan Castellaneta is mainly Homer, but he chips in a couple.
Krusty, Grandpa.
Yeah, Yeardley Smith is basically she's mostly just Lisa. And Nancy Cartwright does Bart and a bunch of the kids. Those and then what's her name? The woman that does Marge.
Julie Kavner.
Julie Kavner mostly just plays Marge, but she plays like a couple of the older women characters in the show.
You want a great filmography? Go to Harry Shearer's Wikipedia page. His first movie was Abbott and Costello Go to Mars in 1953.
Wow.
He was like a child actor. He did some of the voices in the original Star Wars in 1977.
That's insane.
It's crazy. Like, he was like Jack Benny as a child on a Jack Benny show.
Who? What? Fox owns the rights to The Simpsons?
Disney now.
I mean Disney, but Disney owns Fox. Fox owns Simpsons, right? Still.
Yes,
yeah.
Disney bought.
Because that's the other thing. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, I just saw on our Disney Plus today. There's another Maggie short.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Are those like geared towards kids? Are they trying to get kids into Simpsons or?
They are Pixar. They are both. They are both attached to Pixar.
To Pixar movies, okay.
Do you think we should have a pup named Scooby-Doo Muppet Baby situation with The Simpsons?
Yes, I do.
They're honestly.
I think that's what they're doing.
The intellectual property is worth a lot. Like we've talked about,
I mean,
they get from apps and stuff.
Even like look at just 2020 stuff. You know, like you guys know I love Adventure Time. Adventure Time didn't make it a year and a half before it's bought by, or the rights get used by HBO, and now HBO has a 4-episode miniseries of hour-long episodes coming out, and Adventure Time ended in 2019. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're doing offshoots of side characters and just using the Adventure Time name on their own story. I mean, do you think that Disney or Fox will even fucking care, or they'll just be like, I don't care who does the voices. The fact of the matter is, they air the show, they're going to make more money than most shows.
They might.
There was a point where we thought that The Simpsons was worth more dead than it was alive, because all of the syndication deals for first-run syndication were negotiated in 1989. So on terrestrial television, the deals weren't as extraordinary,
right.
And there was a certain point where they were like, this is worth more as a property once it's canceled. But I don't believe that's true based on the way they've done Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So we've lost a couple of very long time Simpsons voices. The woman who did Edna Krabappel died. Like the woman that did Doris the Lunch Lady and all like the gravelly woman voices, she passed recently. So they will replace people. I don't think the core
did they replace those characters, or did those characters die?
No, they like respectfully retire characters if somebody. That's what the MO has been so far.
Great. But yeah, how do you do that with the
here's
Fab Five here?
As long as we're talking about this stuff, I have somewhat embarrassingly been watching the Trailer Park Boys cartoon in recent days. The guy
and you're wearing a dirty shirt.
And I'm wearing a dirty shirt.
I forgot I was going to mention that.
The guy that plays Jim Leahy, the Trailer Park supervisor,
yes,
died. And the way that they handled it is that they make Leahy a ghost that appears to Randy every so often in the cartoon, and they splice together old clips of the actor talking, and it's very weird and sometimes very uncomfortable.
Did they
to know that
pay his family, or like what? Like logistically, legally, how do they do it?
His name is in the credits. John Dunworth was the actor's name.
That's interesting because did they own the cup? Do they own his voice that they record? That's interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They have to be paying his estate. They have to be.
Yeah, they have to. Right?
But it's very uncomfortable. I definitely don't want anything like that. I would rather not have a situation where somebody replaces Dan Castellaneta as Homer, although there's a long-standing tradition in animation that is the case. Like, they
how Frank Welker took over as Scooby-Doo in 2002,
or I can't remember the Looney Tunes guy's name.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who does Bugs Bunny now?
Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc. Yeah, Mel Blanc passed, and they just replaced him without. I don't know. So I don't know. Obviously, if you look at Disney Plus, the number one show on like the what people are watching tab on Disney Plus is always The Simpsons. Like that having that on Disney Plus is such a huge advantage, because the other thing that I get from looking at Disney Plus is that most everything Disney made before 1995 is utter garbage.
Yeah. Yep. Wet trash.
So I think it's a property that they might have even underappreciated when they added it into the fold.
Yeah.
And that I now at this point I don't think they would ever let it die. I don't think the show The Simpsons will run forever, but I do believe that they will try to pivot and make spin-off shows or use the idea of Springfield in some way for as long as they can make money out of it. I mean, sure.
We've seen the theme park stuff. We've seen. I mean, I don't know. It's so interesting to me to think of, like, my mind thinks TV series, but I know Disney. You look at Disney's always thinking universe. Create the Simpsons universe, flesh out the Simpsons universe, and I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what they do. Maybe they continue to build it out that way. That's interesting.
Yeah, the theme park thing's interesting too, because that's at Universal Studios,
right?
And now it's a Disney property, so I don't know what the future of that is.
Yeah, who knows? I never even thought about that. We're running late.
We are starting to run out of time. Do you want to do favorite jokes?
Yeah, I liked the laugh that I got. The best laugh I got. It's Smithers. It's always Smithers. I love Smithers' just inability to care about anyone but Burns and inability to read the context all the time. It's so funny to me. So Burns, of course, justifies his maniacal laughing by saying, I was thinking of something funny that Smithers said. Smithers says, I didn't say anything funny, sir. And that just gets a laugh from me, because that's my kind of comedy right there.
I like that. I think my favorite line, we talked about Ralph's line, which made me laugh really hard. I think the line of the episode for me, though, is Marge has a heart-to-heart with Lisa that it is her choice if Homer's doing two jobs. He's working 9 to 5 at the plant, and he's working 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. at Quickie Mart just to pay for this horse, and he's killing himself basically. And Marge says Lisa has to make this choice. We're not going to tell her what to do. We just have to trust that she's going to do the right thing. Give up the horse or let her dad do this for her. And Lisa, just like completely broken, says, all the years I've lobbied to be treated like an adult have blown up in my face. Which such a good line.
I love that. My favorite is definitely going to be Ralph's line. Yeah. Yes, but what man could tame her? Like,
there are some really...
He does not sound like that. He doesn't speak like that.
There are some really solid moments in this episode. Like, there's like a throwaway moment where Homer's coming home from work in the middle of the night or whatever, and the kids are up late watching Johnny Carson do like some incomprehensible joke, and you just cut to Bart and he goes, it was still fun to be up late anyway.
Al Jean and Mike Reese as writers, as a writing team, wrote for the Johnny Carson show. So that's especially funny for them to dunk on it.
That's really funny.
I was watching a Columbo episode this week that had a full minute-long clip of the Johnny Carson show in it. And I was like, they aren't even dunking on it. This is just cross-promotion for NBC. But on The Simpsons, they're dunking on it, which I love.
They are dunking on it, for sure.
I'm not changing my favorite bet, baby.
I'm not either, Tom.
I'm not either.
Not changing.
Zero
for
change.
For sure. That was a successful episode of Homerphilia.
Good up.
I concur. You guys want to thank some of our sponsors?
My sponsor is the invisibility hat, because you can put it over your head and your face is gone.
Whoa! Where'd Darren
go?
Shit! Yikes!
I would like to obviously thank my sponsor, the Devin Rosenine Mushy Pushy Method, for becoming an athlete in your late 90s. The only true proven path to go from improviser to writer to NBA professional basketball player as a senior citizen.
I would like to thank our generous sponsor. We're sponsored by a real Hollywood blockbuster franchise now. I would love to thank our sponsor. Now You Can See Me 3 coming out in theaters as soon as the pandemic's over. The only Hollywood movie that has real magic and real wizards doing real stuff.
Nailed it. Nailed it, buddy. You nailed it. Good work.
I'm sorry, Devin.
All right, we'll be back next Sunday, 7:00, everybody, with season 3, episode 8. Right?
Yeah, it's weird because instead of keeping the numbers the same on the app, they just start the episode or season at 1 when they deleted the actual first episode of the season.
So our next episode is Saturdays of Thunder.
Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one.
So cool. So we're going to watch this episode next week. It's the 9th episode of season 3. It features cultural references to films such as Ben-Hur, Lethal Weapon, and Days of Thunder. There you go. Bart gets immersed in competitive soapbox racing. So that sounds like a fun app to me. Sounds like one that I'll like. All right, everybody. Any last words, guys?
Ciao.
Ciao. All right, everybody. See you next week.